All right. Unfortunately, tonight the maestro is not here, but you are watching Toilets to Titles, and this is on the clock, episode 22. I'm Nino Brown, aka the Mayor, and I got a panel tonight. You already know the deal. My guys, Boomer, KT. KT, how we doing tonight?
Hey, feeling fantastic, man. D now on the chat. What's happening, D now? We gonna try our best to hold it down for Coach. I can't believe we're at episode 22 already. That's crazy. But yeah, man, I'm doing good, man.
Boomer, what's cooking?
I'll be honest with you. Every time I hear this music, I feel like it's a WWE entrance music. Like I'm just like, I feel like I need to strut.
Gotcha.
Come on down.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah. Get your mankind going. I love it. The maestro's not here. He had some stuff he had to take care of. But we're going to be touching on 2024 Senior Bowl wish list. Last week we did the offense, and there was some deep dives in there. And there's going to be some deep dives in here. But we do. We go down the rabbit hole. We're trying to channel all our inner Jim Nagy's, right? And bring out these guys and put them to fruition and put them up to light for you guys out there at home who enjoy, this college football stuff and these prospects who may not be top tier, but could be top talent, at the next level. So I'm going to start this off at the bottom of the screen. Boomer, why don't you give me two of your guys on the defensive side of the ball that you're feeling?
All right, so I'm going to go with my guy from Oklahoma just because, well, Boomer, you know how it is. But the reason why he's going first for me is because I feel like the Senior Bowl is the one place that can really help him. Like, we've got a lot of tape on him. He went to Wisconsin. He went to Texas Tech for a year, grad transferred to Oklahoma. I just really think that it's a good spot for him. I think, the Senior Bowl, we have seen elevate draft stock year in and year out. Jim Nagy runs a phenomenal program here, and to see a guy come in and have a chance, Reggie Pearson Jr., what most Sooner fans will notice him is he had his best game last year was against Oklahoma in their final game. He had 11 tackles, 10 solo, an absolute monster hit on Dylan Gabriel. Had a great year overall, 55 tackles, 44 solo, 2 interceptions, 4 pass breakups. Like I said, I think it's the best spot for him. I think the Senior Bowl really elevates his draft stock, and that's what the Senior Bowl is all about. My next one, we're just going to go a little farther north. We're going to go to Kansas. Kenny Logan Jr., also another safety, 106 tackles, 72 solo, 4 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. I just really think he's the anchor of that defense in a much well-coached team ever since Liverpool got there. I really think they've made some strides, and I think that he could be an anchor for that defense and would be a really great grab for the Senior Bowl.
I love the Kansas gentleman, Kenny Logan. Now he's gonna have more opportunity, more tackles, right? Because Lonnie just went to the NFL, right? I believe went late round or UDFA. I'm not sure exactly, but I know he was is in the NFL camps now. So that guy had like over 100 tackles himself. So that's opening up doors for this guy to get at least 30 more tackles. So
man, 130 tackles out of a safety.
We had a guy in Memphis that was doing that stuff. Remember?
Yeah, we love that kid.
Yeah. KT, give me two guys you're feeling.
All right, so I'll talk about this first guy first, JT Killen. Nino and I was talking about him in the green room. Coastal Carolina, 6'3", 225. He was listed as third team on Sun Belt with 95 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 3 fumble recoveries. But Phil Steele actually listed him as a second team all Sun Belt. Thought I should add that. And he was also that was it. Edge Richard Gibonor is somebody I am truly excited about. The first guy I was, like I said, I'm sorry, like Nino said earlier, we were trying to deep dive. Some of these guys I have on my list, I'm not so sure that they'll make it, but I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar that Richard Gibonor from Troy will make it. He's 6'3", 233, had 40 total tackles last season, 7.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 1 interception. He actually started his career at Auburn. I'm not sure what went wrong, but he ended up transferring to Troy at a 78.1 grade on PFF. His best graded game actually came against UTSA in the Cure Bowl. We helped the Trojans win 18-12 with 1 tackle for loss and 1 sack. 18 hurries on the season, which is damn good. That's a stat that a lot of people don't pay attention to. And he's projected, I forgot which draft site I seen, to run a 4.46. If that is true, he should definitely climb up the boards. But the first things first, Senior Bowl helps everybody climb. So if he can go there and ball out, that'll be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. We had spoke about Killen a little bit, like I said, in the green room.
Mhm.
I like, what he's got. He's got the talent. He's got the game. He's got to work on that missed tackle thing. But
It's not good.
it's not good. But a guy that I'm all about, when I've been on the train since he came out of college, came out of Baylor, and Boom will tell you, and will back me up here. Jalen Petrie missed tackle rate at Baylor was it was in the 20s, so I believe, like 19 something. So it was
1 out
terrible.
of 5 tackles missed. Sheesh.
And then he came to the NFL and went off 100 some tackles and literally cut that in half. So it can change. It's coaching, being around the right surroundings, being around the right players. So don't take. And anybody can go off. This year could be a whole. Like I said, he's gonna have more opportunity in Carolina because we were talking about in the green room. Lance Boykin's gone, right? He went to the NFL, and they had an edge guy who was good. Clark, I think his last name was. He went on also. Gerard Clark, right? I think he went on to the NFL as well. So there's opportunity for him to get in there and eat. So we'll see what happens. Clear up the missed tackle rate. Drop it down a little bit, and there's a possibility that Mr. Nagy might be giving you a call.
Mm-hmm.
All right, coach isn't here. I'm gonna run through 2 guys for coach that he's feeling right now. One of them guys, he couldn't stop talking about him. That's DB Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. He's Iowa DB. Enough said.
That's it. That's
Enough
all.
said. I could leave it at that if I wanted to, but he's 6'1", 203 pounds. He's solid, right? He is. Me and coach are talking about it, and I'm with him. He is better than Riley Moss. Okay, he's better right now than Riley Moss is right now. He's a dude. He's at 75 total tackles last year. He got a nose for the ball like a bloodhound. He's always active, can't stay still. He's top ranked. He's ranked top 4 in PFF grades amongst all eligible DBs in coverage, tackling, defense, and run stopping. Like, come on, this guy shines. Draft me early. I'm an alpha. Cooper DeJean. I know D now is probably flipping out in the chat right now, going nuts because he's an Iowa guy. Another guy that coach really likes. He says he's like, is just stuck out to him. Defensive lineman Tonka Hemingway out of South Carolina. Mr. Bosage, we're talking to you. This is your neck of the woods. 5th highest pass rush grade of all eligible defensive linemen. He's flex, right? He can play all positions. He's an interior defensive lineman. He can play outside on the edge, right? He only had 505 snaps last year. Limited production, but he showed good bend, solid pass rush. He got a swim move. He can rip. He can dip. You spoke about Phil Steele. Phil Steele had him as the second team All-SEC in 2022 and only 505 snaps. And, he will start in 2023. This could be his breakout. And he just got a name that, you can't forget. It's one of those names. Both sides going to say you and those names because I'm always the guy that talks about the crazy names. Deuce Chestnut, Chop Robinson. Tonka Hemingway is another one. If you don't know him, go search him. I think he's a guy that we're going to be reading about in this pamphlet this year in Reese's Senior Bowl. All right, I'm going to give you 2 of my guys, and I'll throw it back out to you. 2 guys that I'm really into. First guy off the board is linebacker Easton Gibbs out of Wyoming. 6'2", 227 pounds. My man had 121 tackles, 64 solo, right? 3 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, a forced fumble recovery, a pass defense, and a touchdown, right? He had 6 double-digit tackle games last year. He was ranked 3rd in the Mountain West and 22 nationally, all over the whole country. Out of 136 teams, my guy was ranked 22. All right, all these plays. He averaged 9.3 tackles per game. He's got adequate length and speed, right? He's a strong open field tackler. My man can bounce from gap to gap and shoot. So my man puts up another 120 tackles. You're going to be knowing about Easton Gibbs coming out of Wyoming. All right. Yeah. I know Boomer's loving it. Boomer, talk to me real quick about a guy coming out with 121 tackles.
Listen, I mean, there's always that one guy from Wyoming that every 4 or 5 years, it could be on the offense, could be on the defense, but we already knew you were going down the rabbit hole with somebody, right? Gibbs is a guy that stands out. I think he's one of those guys that just stands out everywhere. He's like Leighton Vander Esch to me. He's in a small school, putting up big tackles, and he's flying on the radar. Obviously, Vander Esch went to Boise State, had 25 tackle game one game. This is the type of role that kid could have if they just let him eat. he drops back more than he should. I mean, just let the guy eat.
Yeah, I agree. Let him go downhill.
At the next level, what scheme would he best fit in? Would he fit better in a 4-3 or a 3-4?
I think you keep him in a 4-3 and let him eat in the middle. So
exactly.
I think it's smart.
Yeah, give him the green dot. Let the dude, run the show.
I mean, he reminds me a lot of Jack Campbell, to be honest with you.
Didn't a gentleman on Kansas City come from Wyoming? Didn't Leo Chanel come from Wyoming?
No, he came from Wisconsin.
Missouri, right?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Oh, Wisconsin. You're right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's a linebacker in the league that just got drafted last year. That he played. He's from Wyoming. I can't think off the top of my head, but yeah, they produce linebackers.
I know who you. I can't think. I know who you talking about. Though.
All right, and he's a dude. Like he had a good year. Like probably like 60, 70 tackles. I can't think it off the top of my head.
We were talking about him on
Coach would know it
too. A couple years ago. I know what you're talking about.
All right, I'm gonna go with another guy in a defensive line. All right, this guy's Anthony Goodlow. He's at Oklahoma State now. He just transferred. He had 3 years at Tulsa. 6'4", 286 pounds. He's a former 3-star recruit. Right, he runs a 4.9 40, which ain't the greatest, but he's close to 300 pounds. So I'm not worried about it. But he moves quick when he's on the line. That's what matters. He had 659 snaps. Right, 29 tackles, 19 of them solo. My man just vacuumed. You can one man show can stop him on his own. 28 run stops, right? 26 pressures, 20 hurries, and he had 3 QB hits. Man's got a high motor, right? He's got quick reaction to the ball off the line. He's got good lateral movement. This is the kicker right here. He can play edge, he can play 3 technique, he can play 5 technique, and he's already coming at you with an NFL caliber spin move. Yeah, I said that. 3 technique, 5 technique, and an edge. Bro, that's his neon sign for Jim Nagy.
Bro, he will be in Mobile. No doubt about it. You don't see this very often. He can play a 3-tech and a
5-tech and an edge.
A 3-4-3 tech. I'm sorry, a 4-3-3 tech. And he can play in a 3-4. You don't see a lot of players like that.
No, you do not.
Hey, real quick, the guy you were thinking about, Chad Muma.
Yes, Chad Muma. Thank you.
Yeah.
And he went off for Jacksonville last year, right? What do you have, like 80 tackles?
Hey, that dude went off, especially when he played a limited role. So
yes, yep. He started a couple of games due to injury, but most of the time he was just coming in like 40% snap share. So
hey, Boomer, why you do this to Nino, man? How you make this guy go down this rabbit hole again? He just blew my mind with this Anthony Goodlow dude. And I love, Oklahoma State, the way they, they're able to rush the passer. They soft schedule, but that's for another talk.
They get the awfuls, the milkshake schedules. That's what they get. But, all right. Boomer, give me 2 more guys.
Sorry. I can't. You are killing me with these schedule stuff. I mean, Georgia did the same thing this year, so there's that. Since we're talking about the SEC real quick, let's get right to Dwight McGlothern out of Arkansas. This dude is a dude. Like, he got 43 tackles last year, right? 4 interceptions and 10 PBUs. 10.
Sticky.
I mean, 10 pass breakups. The guy has got a nose to get after the ball. And that's something that I would harp on looking for as a defensive back. He's a really, really solid recruit. He's lanky, tall, lanky kid. He's like 6'3", but he's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger in college, which what you hope for it to happen. Right. But just to see it out of him is just really special. I think he's a really good guy. It's been a while since we had a really good Arkansas player at the Senior Bowl, and I think it's time we need to grab one or two because you might get KJ, you might get this guy. So it would be cool to get teammates. It's always been fun to see that. We saw it last year with Lacey and a few guys from Oklahoma State, and obviously the brothers out of Illinois. So it'd be cool to see, 2 or 3 players from Arkansas, and that's just one guy that I've really been harping on. I've been wanting to talk about certain people, but I'm gonna leave my last guy for last. So Storm Duck is got it. I mean, this dude should have all kinds of NIL deals. Like Bass Pro should be helping this dude out. Like Duckhead needs to help this guy out. Storm Chasers. This dude could have all the NIL deals. Well, what a phenomenal name. 46 tackles, 9 pass breakups, 3 interceptions. Very similar to Dwight, but I think that, him going to Penn State, he was at 4 years at North Carolina. Just really think that he has a lot of good ball handle skills. Like his he's got ball handler skills of a receiver. Like his adjustment style.
Mhm.
You don't have the hands while he's on defense, but I really think it'd be fun to see him. You know, obviously we're going to get a guy here too, and they really obviously recruit him with Joey Porter Jr. leaving. So Penn State has got a guy here. I really think so. So
Well, they had the guy for about 3 weeks, and then he went back into the portal and committed to Louisville.
Yeah.
So he ain't there no more. He got nervous, bro. I don't know what to do. But listen, I like Duck because he was gone out, right? With Porter, right? At North Carolina, it was Tony Grimes and him, right? He was the guy. Tony Grimes was locked down before Tony Grimes decided he wanted to go to Texas A&M. So Duck was getting fired at. They were testing him. He was DB2. They knew Grimes was an alpha. Let's not test this guy. We're going to go at Duck. Boom. My man had almost double-digit pass breakups. He had like 3 or 4 interceptions, and he can get downhill and get in the backfield. I'm with you with Storm Duck. I just don't understand why you wouldn't go to Penn State. They just crank out DBs, dude. This was your opportunity.
Is it because he would have got picked on? Because Kalen King is on the other side.
But he got picked on in the ACC.
He got picked on last year, yeah.
He got picked on last year because Grimes was DB1.
And they're going to throw the ball much more in the ACC than the Big Ten.
Facts.
Bro, they got Kalen King and they got King Mack coming in as a freshman safety. That kid is the truth, bro. He is Timothy, all right? You're going to know about this dude in about 3 years. You're going to say, he called him Timothy already? He's Timothy, bro. This dude is Timothy. Shit. Yeah. All right, boom. I'm with you guys. You saved your guy for the end, huh? You got me all riled up. I really thought you were coming. You were coming for it. I'm with you, and then you just said, I'm gonna wait. All right, KT. Yeah, you're salt banging it up. I got you. KT, give me 2 more.
I'm gonna talk about my last 2 guys. First one is linebacker UTSA by the name of Jamal Ligon. You guys correct me if I'm wrong with the name. 90 tackles, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles. 1 fumble recovery. He was named the Conference USA second team. He also had 4.5 tackles for loss. The next guy I'm going to talk about is a program that you all know well about. I feel like you guys were on the green wave way before everybody else. Is Jarius Monroe, 50 tackles, 3 interceptions, 8 pass deflections, all ACC first team. Prior to that, he played at Nickel State. We was all Southland player as well. He was targeted 60 times, only allowed 32 receptions. That's at a 53% clip. He did give up 4 touchdowns, and one game he got torched. I forgot which game it was, but he got absolutely torched. But he's 6'1". Hopefully he really measures up to 6'1", because we know how Nagy and company like to bring the taller corners to Mobile.
I don't know what's going on with Tulane right now. There's a lot of moving parts with people going. The only thing I do know that's solid is Michael Pratt. Right? He's as solid as it gets. He ain't getting any more solid than that. There's just a lot of moving parts. The backfield could be a running back by committee. A defense lost 2 solid. Yeah, they got the sophomore and they got both guys in the backfield have less than 300 yards of like experience because due to injury and then coming in. I'm not sure which one to get. Me and Boomer talked about it a couple of times. It looks like they're probably going to split it early until you see a guy take off. Wide receivers are hurting as well, too. They lost Deuce Watts. They lost the other guy. I think his last name was Watts. I think it was both of them, or either both of them were Deuce or both of them had Watts as the last name. I'm not sure, but they're both gone. Yeah, so both the starting wide receivers are gone. Both the linebackers went to the NFL, right? Nicholas Anderson's, he went to the Saints. Dorian went to Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of pieces there. He could be the anchor to the defense because he's got experience. He's already had a big year. So we'll see. But I like it. I like it a lot. Listen, I'm a Green Bay guy, so you already know the deal. 6'1", that's big. You mentioned, Boomer, your guy out of Arkansas was 6'3".
Yeah.
Is that like, are you getting a little Julius Brents vibe?
Right. That's crazy.
100%. I mean, he ain't shredded like Brents. I mean, Brents is shredded. Like,
yeah.
But you
that
got the
dude's
height.
ridiculous.
You got the height, right? You know what I'm saying? Senior Bowl is a platform. Look what it did to Brents. Going into it, not many. Listen, I'm a college football guy, and I wasn't really hip to Brents. KT put me on Brents as soon as we got there.
Hey, as an OU fan, I'm so glad he's gone. Like,
I love it. All right, let me get into 2 more. Coach got a couple guys. I'll go to 2 more coaches guys here. He got a guy out of Marshall, linebacker Eli Neal. This dude had a 90.4 PFF pass rush grade. That's the highest among all draft linebackers, right? He led Marshalls in tackles back-to-back seasons. He's 6'2", 223, right? Coach says he's got an interesting frame. How will he hold up against the bigger, stronger offensive tackles at the Senior Bowl? And we've seen some of these Senior Bowl guys sending like brick walls. So it'll be interesting to see if that frame could penetrate. But we also seen smaller guys at the Senior Bowl at that platform go off. Ivan Pace Jr., right? Deion Henley, but both of them gentlemen are small linebackers. They balled out. They were able to take that success onto the next level. They got drafted. The Senior Bowl put them on a platform. So the unique frames, the smaller LBs, as long as the way I look at it, the smaller LBs, as long as you can pack a punch, right? You got to be able to pack that punch. If you're gonna be a small guy, you better be able to earshot him. Spin the helmet around, make a guy double check before he goes back that way again. I think those two guys that I just mentioned can do that. This gentleman from Marshall, it seems like he can do that with back-to-back 100 tackle, seasons. So we'll see. The other gentleman he's got going out, Oregon State, DB, Gaetan Oladipo. 2022 All Pac-12 first team, right? He's a pass rushing specialist. He had an 89 PFF grade, which was third highest against all eligible safeties, right? He had a 79.9 overall defensive grade, 12th highest amongst all safeties PFF. Against my Ducks, it hurts me. This was such a terrible game. They only completed 6 passes in this game, Oregon State. I lost. He had 17 tackles, okay, which is ridiculous. He was everywhere. I kept hearing Oladipo. I'm like, am I watching the Miami Heat? What is going on right now? Well, why was this guy everywhere? Oladipo was a guy, right? Can he piggyback off last year? He's a 50-year senior, right? He's only had 26 career starts, but this is his year, right? This is his opportunity. Jim Nagy, the recent Senior Bowl, they love guys like this, right? Finally getting their chance to shine, show up, show out, bring them on down to Mobile. Let's see what happens. Those are coaches, guys. He's got one more. I'm going to save it to after I run through mine because this is his guy. This is his diamond in the rough, he told me. One of my guys is safety, Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota, 6'2", 210, runs a 4.6 40. He's a former 3-star recruit, right? In 11 games last year, he had 596 snaps, 43 tackles, 34 of them were solo, okay? 20 run stops, 4 picks, 4 pass breakups. This is the one that jumped off the screen to me. When targeted, QBs had a rating of 41.3. Lockdown. Don't test me. You're going to learn today, is what my man was saying, Mr. Nubin. All right? He's physical. He's a eat-your-face safety. Come get me. I am going to knock the snot out of you. He's got great transition, long arms, right? Got straight line speed. He can play in the box. He can play man. He can play free. My dude is him. He can get it done. He may not even need the Senior Bowl. I think if he could piggyback off last year, he might not need it, but he's out in Minnesota. So this could be a nice big platform at the Senior Bowl to get him out there. All right. We're going to stay in the secondary. Unless anybody's got something to say, wants to talk about my guy Nubian.
Yeah. Who would you comp him to? Is he utilized the same way, like a Buda Baker was utilized at Washington, where he came down and played some nickel, corner, also played safety? How is he utilized?
I'm gonna go with a guy that was in the Senior Bowl last year. That plays for Carolina Panthers right now. Jamie Robinson. Okay, Jamie Robinson can knock the snot out of you. Jamie Robinson get down in the box, right? Jamie Robinson tested. We wanted Rashee Rice multiple times back to back. Come on, boy.
Yeah.
Come on, boy. I want it. Come on. So Jamie Robinson, he's my guy, and I believe that I see a lot of this in him right here. Wow. I think Nubian could be that dude.
I love it.
Another guy I got, we're gonna stay in the secondary, is Nehemiah Pritchett out of Auburn, 6'1", 182 pounds. He's another former 3-star recruit, right? SEC competition. That's all I want to say. Okay, 12 games, 676 snaps. My man had 31 tackles, 25 solo, 8 pass breakups, 15 run stops, and when he was when targeted QBs had a rating of 72. These two guys just get it done. My man's got a fluid back pedal, stays low, crouching tiger, hidden dragon. He got a bicycle step, right? No T-step. Bing, bing. That's what I love. Like Dion, baby. In and out. He got speed. He got length. He runs a low 4.4 40. He can get downhill quickly. The only thing the problem is he's got a little trouble with some route recognition. Sometimes double moves. My man's sitting there sipping coffee. All right. But other than that, this dude's got it. I think with the people in Auburn this year, better culture, more talent, I think this dude's going to be a guy you're going to be reading about come draft day. And I think the Senior Bowl going to put him on that platform.
I can certainly see it.
My last guy, before I run back whatever we got left, is defensive end Chico Bennett Jr. out of Virginia. All right. 6'4", 252. He's another former 3-star recruit. He runs a 4.6 40. This dude got elite spin move, like NFL ready right now spin move. Right, he's the counter king. That's what I call him. He counted anything that these offensive line got for him. He could count it. He got violent hands. He get downhill quick. Got speed along the line. Right. He played 2 seasons at Georgia Tech. This is the growth. I want you guys to listen. At Georgia Tech for 2 seasons, total 28 tackles, 18 solo, 9 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. At Virginia last year alone, 34 tackles, 17 solo tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. He did better than 2 seasons at Georgia Tech in 1 year at Virginia. So the growth is there. The kid's performing. I got a funny feeling you're going to be hearing about Chico Bennett Jr. at the Senior Bowl in Mobile this year. What are your thoughts on those 3 guys?
Why do you think he stayed at UVA?
I have no clue. I'm not sure. There's so many guys I question. Like maybe he just.
Hey, because the guy that had the spin move when his former teammate Keon White was going out for the draft this year.
Well, yeah, but he didn't play with him this year. Why would he wait?
Well, you know what I mean, though. I mean, it's funny because if I were to just listen to you and know who Keon White is, I'm like, man, I can compare that. And then I'm like, didn't they both go to Georgia Tech? Like, Here we are.
That's Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is probably the reason why. But he did ball out last year at Virginia. So that we're not going to take that away from him.
Right.
People just got to go to a better scene, right? Bo had to go to a better scene. My guy Bo went from Auburn. They wrote him off, said he was dead.
Yeah.
They already had his casket etched out, right?
Yeah.
And then his headstone was planted. And then he went to Eugene. He pulled an Undertaker on everybody.
He's a pro quarterback there.
Hey, Kenneth Walker, left Wake Forest, dude.
Yeah,
right? Left Wake.
Great point.
Went to Michigan State, balled out. Never didn't really catch passes anywhere else, but
I mean, as much as I like Jahmyr Gibbs, did we really think he was going to go in the first round before he went to Bama?
No, at Georgia Tech, I didn't. No, he hadn't even bubbled yet. Right, so you never know. Like I said, change of scenery could be it. Coach's last guy is keeping it in the secondary here because he had 3 DBs. I think it's Chow Smith Wade, Washington State DB. For him. Last year, Kai Blue Kelly, Pac-12 DB, stole the show, right, for him at the Senior Bowl. This year, he thinks it's going to be another Pac-12 DB that's going to lead the way, and that is Smith Wade. He led the Pac-12 in forced fumbles with 3. He had an 85.5 coverage grade, which is 8th best in all DBs eligible for draft. He's 5'11", 180 pounds. Need to see those, measurements generous, if they're legit or not. I spoke to him a little bit. I'm getting Emmanuel Forbes vibes here, right? Short guy, hungry, got that fierce look to him, can take it to the house if you test him. So it's a possibility. Like I'm with Coach though. I'm glad he put it in the notes. We want to see the measurables because we all know colleges, they exaggerate, right? They will do whatever they got to do to make that guy look good. If he comes in at that, I think there's a possibility that he could be a dude.
It's funny we bring him up because I'm almost positive that when Kayla, she works from Nashville, was at Senior Bowl. She's a Washington State grad. She asked Deion Henley, hey, who do you think's going to be here? And I'm almost positive this is the name he brought up. And I'm thinking, man, how awesome would that be? We're going to talk to Kayla, and maybe if we can get to reach out to Deion, like, hey, what do you think about this guy? Should we reach out to Jim? Like, hey, this is a guy that you already talked about. Can we get him in the Senior Bowl? I mean, it would be fun to watch that, to be honest with you.
I think you're right. I think I'm trying to remember. I remember seeing that clip. I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Yeah, it's it's bubbly. I mean, it instantly came in my head. I was like, man, I think it's the name. I mean, it's we can find it, then it'd be great.
Right.
But if not, I'm going to ask Kayla Anderson anyway. So shout out to her. She's phenomenal. Great Wazoo grad and does her work for the Titans. So
crushing it. I'm gonna put it out there because I want to put. I dove Boomer. I'm playing Boomer. Okay, for every rabbit hole I go down, it's his fault. He started it right before we even got into the Senior Bowl stuff. He put out some crazy tweet to me and says, "How far down do you think the whole Nino's gonna go?" Right? I'm like, this guy, and he knows that's what he does to me. I'm hooked already. Like I came in with him, and I was like, I'm gonna slowly grow. I'm gonna get into this. Yeah, right. I fell head over heels into it, and now I can't get out of it. But as a guy, as I was doing research last week and this week, D3 guy, right? We had BJ Wilson on from Quincy College. We interviewed him earlier last year, right? He was a D3 guy that Nagy had brought up as a possible guy that might have made the Senior Bowl. Unfortunately, he didn't make the Senior Bowl, went to Shrine Bowl. But I got a D3 guy. I know he's on the offensive side, North Central out of Illinois. I put a tweet out today. Wide receiver D'Angelo Hardy. In 13 games, this guy had 70 receptions for 1,200 yards and 20 touchdowns. He's 6'1", 202 pounds. He was Luke Lemon's number one, his go-to guy, his number one target, right? And he finished second in all of D3 football for touchdowns and fifth in yardage. I tweeted Nagy. I says, keep your eye out for this guy. This is a dude that I think if he can mirror this again, if this guy gets anywhere near the 15 touchdowns again, I mean, you got to at least take a look at him, right? Like we had Tyson was in there, right? Tyson Bagent. He came in. He did well at the Senior Bowl. Throw your dot, my man. Nagy, throw your dot. I think my guy Hardy might be a dude that could come in and ball out. They sub here and there. Maybe if he's not a guy like Grant Dubois came in for Charlotte at the end when someone got injured, right? Maybe Hardy might be a sub or an emergency guy, but I think Hardy's the guy that they need to look at because, man, like we say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. 20 touchdowns is absurd.
I agree. He's going to be a dude. Let me get to my last guy. I've been itching, dropping the salt, and been wanting to talk about him. Obviously, I've been on this whole train. You and me were talking about it week one when North Carolina played Appalachian State early. We're like, man, Cedric Gray is everywhere.
Yeah.
And he continued to be everywhere. You don't see a lot of true linebackers play true freshman, true sophomore, true junior, and now he's going to be a true senior. Cedric Gray, 144 tackles last year. What was it, 72? I got to look at my notes real quick. 82 solo tackles, 1 sack, 3 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions. He's a dude. I mean, he's 6'2", 235. He's everywhere. He moves well. He's bigger than I thought. But again, that might be a measurable thing. I think he comes in like 6'1", to be honest. I don't think he's 6'2" and a quarter. He just doesn't look that tall to me. Now he's everywhere and he's swole and he does not miss tackles. He's been fun to watch. Every single game that we have seen from him, he plays well. And to be a true player, I don't care where you're at, it's tough. Especially, it's good competition in ACC. I mean, plays well against Clemson. I mean, that's a game I can't wait to watch every single year.
Florida State.
Because, Florida State and then play well. Obviously, we got the Carolinas, Duke and North Carolina. I don't know what it is. Don't matter how bad off they are. It's a rivalry. I don't care basketball or football. It's a fun one. So I can't wait to see Cedric Gray. I hope and pray that he's at the Senior Bowl. He'd be one of my first interviews for sure. He's my D Winters for this year, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow.
So you say Cedric Gray, and I'm all about him, right? Is it possible that we see a two-lane linebacker combination this year for UNC with Paolo Eccles and Cedric Gray? Like, those two are going to vibe again, right? They're dudes. I mean, I don't know if Paolo's on the same level as Cedric, but I think they both can ball out. And we saw Nicholas Anderson and, Dorian Williams ball out for Tulane. So,
yeah, I think it's going to be a big year. And I think they need to have a big year to back up Drake May because I don't think that line and his wide receiving core is not what they are. So the defense has to come up and show up, and those two guys are the two guys that have to do it.
I don't want to. He's not here to defend himself, so I'm not going to say anything about Drake May because me and Coach got into it a little bit last week, and he's not here to defend himself. So I don't want to stir the pot. But
they got real.
I mean, I might have thrown that little gem there just because I know.
But if you didn't catch the episode, go back, check it out. I'll give you a brief synopsis. He said, Caleb and Drake May had a cemented 1-2, and I said, well, what makes Drake cemented? Like, why is he cemented at the 2? Caleb, yes. There's a very good chance, probably like an 82.6% chance he's going to be the Heisman winner again, right? But if Bo Nix goes out and does anything similar to what he did last year, if not better, because he can stay healthy all year, or Michael Penix, or the gentleman out in Texas that can maybe finally put it together, or maybe a guy
could easily be number 2.
There's a guy at Ohio State that's really good friends with Marvin Harrison Jr. Has been known him since he was about 15, been playing football with him for a few years in Kyle McCord. My man goes off. There's a chance that he could be, the number 2. Like, Drake May's lost a lot of pieces. Yes, Devontae Walker is there, but he ain't Josh Downs, okay? They're a different type of receiver, right? Josh Downs can play anywhere on the field, right? Antoine Green's gone. Phil Longo is gone, right? Like, that's huge. I don't know.
This is what I got to say about that. Like, Spencer Rattler is the reason why I will never, ever, and I know Boomer could relate to this, coming into, the 2021 college football season, it was the 2022 NFL draft. He's supposed to be the number 1 quarterback, and then Caleb Williams happened, the rest is history. Yeah. I don't know. Like, Caleb Williams is certainly probably the first player taken off the board, but like you said, UNC lost so much. You can't just say that Drake May is the number 2 guy.
And my thing is, we talked about it multiple times, KT, right, on CFB Nation, and me and Moon talked about it on P2P. There was the last 4 games. There was no adjustment. None whatsoever. They went into the first half looking like poo, came out running the same offensive scheme in the second half. He couldn't change, and he was starting to you started to see whether it was a little bit of getting tired because he's playing a full season now, right? He hadn't played the year before. He's not he wasn't a true freshman or whatever. I'm just saying.
They lost to Georgia Tech without Jeff Sims, bro.
You're just backing me up here. And
that's bad.
I'm not trying
to dropping dimes.
Don't get me wrong. This is no shot at my guy, Coach. I love him.
No, never.
People in this community, right? And there's no shot at anybody in the community, but people have already cemented him off 1 year. But they're not taking into effect of everything else there that's going on. I love Bryson Nesbitt. I think he's going to probably be a top 5 tight end in this draft. I've been saying that for months now, okay? But if he's like the go-to, because that line can't hold up, we watch Willie. What happens when you ain't got a good line, right? If that line can't hold up for him, and he's got to play quick ball, well then Marion Hampton, was it Pettigrew? Those guys are going off in the running backs because they're going to be handing and dumping to Nesbitt and them 2 backs. Walker will get his big plays off the play action, but you ain't going to see, if that line can't hold up, Drake May's not going to be slicing and dicing down these defenses all the way down the field. It's not happening.
No.
You know what I was sitting there thinking about real quick? Since we're talking about Senior Bowl, and I know we're talking defense, but can you imagine how great, or let's just say how drastically different the quarterback room for this coming year to compared to last year's? No, I'm not completely knocking that quarterback room, but it was not up to par by any means. It could be a week of shootouts in the quarterback room, because there's so many guys that are willing to take chances. That's something that wasn't happening last year. I think that could be so much fun. I mean, we ain't even talked about DJ much, and he could easily go.
Oh, DJU? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
He could. He very well
could. That's another 5-star, quarterback.
Crazy. That's crazy. And I think Boone brought up, Dylan Gabriel, a guy that I'm a big fan of last week. Yeah. Senior Bowl this year could be lit. And
It's going to be crazy.
Certain quarterback that played at TCU that would not have been in the Senior Bowl this year, who was at the Senior Bowl last year.
No, we're not gonna hurt the wounded here on this show. But you guys were talking QBs this year. So this DB room, last year's DB room was dirty, right?
Yeah, it was solid.
We had how many in the first round? 4, 3,
5.
5? Was it 5? Forbes was the 5th.
Wasn't Forbes the 3rd?
Forbes.
Yeah. Porter was in the
second one. Yeah,
Joey Porter was in the second round, right? So he don't.
Yeah,
count.
first and second round. Yep.
We
had Witherspoon. You had boy from
Gonzo.
You had dude from Mississippi State.
That's Forbes.
Yep. Well, Forbes went in the first round.
Yeah, I know that.
So that's 3.
Wash. I think it's either 4 or 5. But now, look at my guy, DB1. Everybody's hot and knows Kool-Aid McKinstry, right? DB2, in most consensus rankings is Denzel Burke, right?
Ohio State, yep.
Now, whether Bullard plays safety or corner this year, I'm not sure. But Cooper DeJean, he's obviously right there. And Kalen King. Those are dogs at the DB.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, let's hit the safeties. You got Bullock out of USC. I'm questionable. He's been a dude, right? But we know how Mekhi Blackman got exposed. And I love Mekhi Blackman. He got exposed at the Senior Bowl, okay? So USC's defense doesn't usually do well on these platforms. But Macumba, like out of Clemson, dog, right? Cole Bishop out of Utah, dog. Cameron Kitchens out of Miami, dog. Malachi Moore, right? Jason Marshall, those guys, dudes. They
right.
Jason Marshall is talked about as the top 5 DB in the class, right? Tony Grimes, he's eligible. Like, dude, this is a class. Then, if for some reason this guy can stay healthy and put it together, Jalen Catalone, right? He went to Texas. Like, they got a roster. Could he ball out this year? My guy Nubin, right? There's a lot.
Oh, dude from Buffalo too. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got that dude from Rutgers, Max Melton. He's a dude.
Yeah, the DB room strong, quarterback room strong, offensive line room is ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's 10 of great. I think legit 4 first rounders from offensive linemen. But it's deep. I mean, it's crazy deep.
So it's Fashanu, Alt, Lathman, right? BB, then my guy Kingsley. Right around that, Kingsley.
Depending on how well Blake Fisher plays this year, he may can sneak up.
Ooh, Zion Nelson, and then you got the dude from Georgia, Van Pran. So that's deep.
That's crazy.
Donovan Jackson.
I want to go watch out, and I think I brought Guyton up last week, and I think that he's going to be a name that is going to be the Senior Bowl. That's a converted halfback, so. And he's starting right tackle for Oklahoma now. So that's just fun to me. Like, I'm all about the converted players just getting somewhere.
Boomer, I got a question for you. I think the account name is Big Game Boomer. Did you see his offensive line coach rankings? It pissed a lot of Oklahoma fans off.
Boy.
Yeah, it's not cool, dude, because I mean, love or hate it, Bill Bedenbaugh's the greatest offensive line coach, maybe, and I'm saying this with confidence, ever.
He had him 10th, I believe.
Is he up there with my guy from New England?
100%.
Okay.
He would be if he went to the pros. I mean, let's talk about this real quick. Oklahoma's O-line, we agree?
Yeah.
Okay. The top 4 offensive linemen in football in the NFL are from Oklahoma.
That's crazy.
Right? The top 3 PFF graded linemen last 4 years.
OU.
Oklahoma's put out a left tackle 3 years in a row, drafted in the first 3 rounds. And guess what? All 3 of them are a Pro Bowler. Top center in the NFL is Kelsey. Number 2 is from Oklahoma. They've won the Joe Moore Award trophy 2 years in a row, and they should have won it 3 years in a row. And that means your entire offensive line is dudes. Every single one of those guys from the Joe Moore that they won it are starters in the NFL. Every single one of them. So when and I get another, if I was some other school, cool, I would tell you the exact same thing. But I'm just lucky enough to be an OU alumni. But men lie, women lie, stats don't, and them boys kill it.
The only stats that aren't real are the ones on Wikipedia. All right.
I got one last.
Me and you can alter at any time that we want.
Anybody can do it. I got one last player to add. It's an HBCU player. It seems like every year the Reese Senior Bowl try to add at least one HBCU player. His name is Khalil Barker, I believe, or Baker maybe.
The NC Central?
Yeah, NC Central. He was FCS All-American first team.
Ooh.
Yeah, from the MEAC. That like never happens. So
hey,
he's the one.
Aubrey Miller Jr., right? His stock rose. Like
NC Central's coach, I went to high school with, Claude Claiborne. We just call him CJ. I'm gonna reach out to him and see if we can get that interview done. So,
yeah.
Hey, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. So,
100%.
100%. This was a good one. We went almost 50 minutes. No maestro, no maestro controlling. Getting it done, pulling the strings here. We do miss Coach. I hope he's enjoying, his family time. But we're gonna wrap this one up. You guys got anything else you guys want to say? And before we go,
nah, you two dudes are sickos. That's all.
It's his fault.
Crazy.
It's all his fault from the jump.
He used to just be rolling the train like, oh, I'm gonna go here, and then man, it just happened a while back. I just like, man, I've gotten to really know Nino. He's a brother to me, 100%. And man, once I realized he will go down a rabbit hole. He not only will he fall, he keeps digging like a gopher, bro. Like what more I got? Like there's more here.
I come up, I'm in a different country. I
it's like Monsters. You don't remember Monsters?
Yeah.
Where the dude going to the bed, he be show up in California all of a sudden. That's my guy right there. That's my guy.
All right,
wow.
We're gonna close out OTC. We're gonna close it out P2P and head-to-head style. Take us away.
Hey, until next week, let's go.